Hi, my name is Tiffany Cameron, Reggae Girls top striker, and you are watching Ryan LFC YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome, guys. This is the first episode of the Jay Taylor Unplugged podcast, and tonight we have a special guest for you. We have the General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, officially the General Secretary. I'm hoping because the last time I spoke to Mr. Chung, he was and I would say he wasn't really. He was a bit tight-lipped about disclosing that information. So I hope today we can dive into some operational stuff and some updates and try to get this one started. Good night, Mr. Chung. How you doing tonight?
Hi, how you doing? I'm good, man.
All right, awesome. I saw that you have been busy these couple of days. Look like
Yeah,
Adidas have you busy.
yeah, man. It has been a busy time. Trying to wrap up the Adidas things, get the garments in here and everything. So it has been a busy period, and we have the girls just finished a camp in Florida. They have Nations Cup next month in Australia. They have under 17 qualification. They just finished camp also. They have under 17 qualification in Guatemala next month. Um, and then we have some international friendlies. The boys going to Mexico in March for Nations League.
Yes.
So it's a busy time, and then Gold Cup coming up and World Cup and everything.
Nice, lovely, lovely. That sounds like a very schedule, and it seems like it's gonna be an exciting year of football for the Jamaican football, the different teams. Just a little quick breakdown with you here, Mr. Chang. I just want to know a little bit about yourself, but we don't have to make it. Just a little summary, so people can just get a little idea of who you are and where you got your drive from and how you got your start into sports. Just a little summary of it.
Well, I'm a chartered accountant by profession. Um, I was president at the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Um, I have worked in business primarily in various industries. I was president of the PSOJ. Last time I was at Supreme Venture Services Limited. Um, and I've been on the board of the JFF for over 2 years prior to becoming General Secretary. In terms of my affiliation with sports, um, I used to play some football, not at any representing any schools or anything, but used to play a lot of sports, football, squash, everything. Then I did some knee surgery, so I started cycling. It's about 10 years ago. Um, I was an interim president for a few months at the Jamaica Cycling Federation, and I was asked by the president to come in as general secretary. So that has been my introduction into sports management, really. Um, I am chairman of the National Solid Waste Management Authority,
Okay.
have been for a while, you know, and sit on a few boards. That's it, not
Wow.
much.
Wow. That's a lengthy resume, we must say there, Mr. Chung. Um, can you just for the layman or just lot of people who are just fans of the football and we hear the terms of president or the general secretary, if you could just break down for us what's the role of the general secretary on a day-to-day basis as far as operation is concerned.
The general secretary is responsible for everything relating to the football federation and football. So everything that we have oversight of, you know. So I'll just give you a synopsis of the various functions we have. We have between the men and women, we have about 8 or 9 different programs between the under 15, under 17, under 20, national team. Um, we have our finance functions, so we have to manage the affairs of the organization, marketing, so get funds into the organization, market the organization. We have a press officer who deals with the PR side of it. We deal with the referees, and assessors,
Wow.
match commissioners. We basically have oversight of the Premier Leagues, the elite football in Jamaica, and it's managed through the PFJL. Um, so we basically do everything. We are so the way the structure is set up is that FIFA is the one who governs football internationally.
Yes, yes.
Um, FIFA has 200 and I think 35 member associations, of which we are one.
Okay.
Our constitution says that the JFF is responsible for all football in Jamaica, and then we report to FIFA on that. Of course, that's really mostly elite football. The school football is ISA, corner leagues and that sort of thing. People, parish associations will deal with
Is
that.
just one just stick up in there, sir. Chong. I'm gonna allow you to continue as that.
Mhm.
ISA, what's the relationship with ISA and the JFF? How does, because we just want to provide some clarity around these relationships.
Yeah, so ISA, the Inter Secondary School Associations, is the one who
Mm-hmm.
runs like the schoolboy football
Mm-hmm.
champs and that sort of thing. Um, I mean, we have a working relationship, but ISA is responsible for schoolboy football.
Okay.
We're not. We just deal with football in the Premier League levels, really elite football, which is what we deal with. So we don't really have that direct relationship, but we do work together. For example, Keith Wellington, who's the head of ISA, is actually helping us with an academic staff
Okay.
for the youth teams, so that we can support their academics when they're in camp, because you tend to wonder how can an under 17 be coach training during school,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
because we provide the academics, support to them, whether it be through distance learning by providing them with a facility to connect to classes remotely,
Mhm.
or straight classes we provide for them also.
Okay. Thank you for that information, Mr. Chong. And the reason why I'm asking these questions are basically, we sometimes something maybe go right or something go wrong, and people say, yeah, you need to contact the general secretary, but it's maybe not. It's not actually your job or what you actually do. So it's great that you kind of created some clarity there for us. If when you come up with basic like you come up with strategies and basically ways to implement things, are your decisions basically voted on, or it has to be sent off to the president or the technical committee, or you are like you basically can implement things once you see necessary or see fit?
Well, I mean, the board operates like any other board that deals with policy. Eh?
Hmm.
So we'll go to the board and we'll say, listen, this is the strategic direction that we want to go in,
Hmm.
present a plan to them, present a budget to the board. And basically, as my job as general secretary, which is basically CEO of the organization, I would say, okay, within the context of where we want to go. So if
Hmm.
we say, for example, the 4-term strategic goal is to qualify for World Cup in 2026, right, or
Hmm.
3.5, 3-year goal, um, then we'll create strategies and a budget around that. And then, basically, my job is to manage that, so deal with the coaches,
Yeah.
ensure that everything runs from a proper administrative point of view, ensure that the rules and regulations that we put down are run. We have various committees also that work through that. So we have a competitions committee headed by one of our directors, Gregory Daly. We have a women's committee that deals with women football in Jamaica, headed by our director in charge of women's football in Jamaica, Elaine Walker Brown, and that sort of thing. We have a finance committee. We have a
Hmm.
marketing committee now that's headed by Chris Dering,
Hmm.
right? So those are the things we basically do. So we basically follow the same path as any normal organization.
Yes, and I want to say I really respect your drive to make sure we get female football up and running, and the delegation of the JFF, because a lot of times the female program can be a thing like a second thought but I love that you guys have
Um, there's a
really
lot of effort in it.
focused.
You know, I tell you something though, the fans need to support it because a lot of people, they will say,
Mhm.
"Oh, we want to see women football or we want to see that." You keep a match at the stadium, although the
Yes.
women are doing so well, right?
Yes.
They struggle to get half of the attendance of a men team that not doing so well.
Hmm.
So we need fan support.
I,
But we're determined. I mean, FIFA has made it 2023 one of its missions is focus on women's football development and talent. And we are following in that footstep.
I must say to you, Mr. Chung, I've been to a few female football games here in Scandinavia. I think Sweden, Denmark, they are top teams, and
Mhm.
they are also struggling with fans in the stadiums. It's I think it's a worldwide thing when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
on to the game. So because I think the female football is still it's going through a process of growth and becoming more popular where people
Mhm.
can accept it as a full grown
But
sport
but
that they're
I,
really
I tell
attractive
you
to.
though, they play very well.
Yeah.
Games are very good, very exciting. You know,
Yeah.
not because it's women. These women will run around some of our male teams. Not necessarily the same national team. I mean, when you look at teams like Brazil and the USA, right? Players like Marta from Brazil, they don't joke. I mean, our captain also is the leading goal scorer in the women's Premier League in England.
Yes, that's
You
congratulations
know,
to her.
I mean, I was
That's
at a
great.
coaching convention over the past few days, and I mean, women's football is huge in the US, and the one of the players they're talking about as one of the most exciting players. The US coach is talking about is Jody Brown, who plays for us.
One of my favorite player, Sir Chung.
Yeah.
She's active. I like how she moves on the
Yeah.
pitch. She's active.
Yeah.
She speeds up the game. I love
Yeah.
that. I love her playing style.
Yeah.
So all right, that's nice. That's good to hear that we're making progress on that front. And congratulations to the girls again. They will be in the next big the next big dance, so we'll be looking out for that. Let's get a little bit into the Adidas deal as far as the kits are concerned. I know a lot of the fans has been waiting to hear a bit about this. As far as distribution is concerned, Mr. Chung, when a fan go into a store and they purchase a jersey, how is that distributed? Because fans want to know, how am I helping my team and my country by purchasing this
All right.
Reggae Boys jersey?
You can purchase a Reggae Boy or Reggae Girls, eh?
Mhm.
You can purchase through all the Adidas outlets online, right? Um, so we get 20% of all branded sales, right? So, you know, the more people buy, the more money we get, you know,
Okay.
which is 20% of the sales. So it's pretty significant. And Adidas sells globally, you know.
Yes.
So what we need to, and have Jamaicans and also other supporters globally. So we need to encourage people, to buy it, and that's the way that you're going to see the sport grow in Jamaica, when our fans support us, So when a jersey comes out, when the lifestyle wear comes out, buy it, And if all our fans around the world buy it, then it puts a lot of money in the coffers of JFF, which we really need, because
Mhm.
especially this year is a very busy year for us.
Okay, that's good to know, guys. So as you heard, Mr. Chung, 20% of that funds will be allocated to the JFF. So as far as distribution is concerned, this will be going to the Adidas distribution chain. So where Adidas has access to all these stores and sporting goods, that's where we're gonna be able to purchase these. Is that correct? Just to
Yes, that's
verify.
that's correct.
Okay, brilliant. And as far as officials related to Jamaican football and the professional game, like coaches and different staff, will they be obligated to wear Adidas gear? And at what date does this officially come into play?
Yeah, well, the official launch date is going to be February 6th. Um,
Okay.
of course, once it's launched and once the gears are here, you can only wear Adidas, right? So the 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 garments are not here as yet. The kits are
Mhm.
not here as yet. So, you know, we don't have it to wear. So they have allowed us to continue wearing um, what we have now until it comes. But once it comes, then everyone will be branded in Adidas outfits, including the staff, everyone associated with JFF. So we won't be wearing the Umbro kits anymore.
Okay, all right. That's good to know, guys. So we'll be looking out for that. As far as I know, a lot of players who play for Jamaica, I think some of them also have this separate deals when it comes on to their clubs.
Yeah.
If you explain that to us, how does it work? Is there a conflict there with the international game? Are players able to be basically the face of Jamaican football while representing Adidas while being under contract at their club for another brand? How does that work? Just a little
Well,
clarity.
it depends on what the thing is. So they can, I mean, they obviously have to wear the Jamaica kit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and they can be the face of Jamaican football. They would not necessarily be advertising Adidas if they represent Nike. So it depends on the legal agreement too that they make. But obviously you have to wear the Jamaican kit if you're going to be playing for Jamaica, and you'll be featured in Jamaican footage. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, in terms of advertising, when you play for Jamaica, they don't really advertise directly the brand. What you're advertising is Jamaica, right? Now, if
Yes.
there's a shoot, for example, that Adidas was a shoot, right?
That's what
Uh,
we want to know. That's what we want to get to, Mr. Chung. Thank you.
yeah, you're right. If Adidas had a shoot to promote Adidas, then obviously there might be some conflict with the
Yes.
other contracts, and then we would have to select the girls that are able to be in that shoot. But when it comes to playing for Jamaica,
Mhm.
everyone wears a kit.
Okay. And let me just be certain of this that all the teams will be sponsored. Yeah, and is it from what level, what age group will
Yeah, man.
these teams?
All the teams will be sponsored.
Okay, home and away kit.
Well, the senior men and the senior women's team. Sorry, yeah, but
Okay,
we'll have kits for all the teams.
for all the teams. Okay, so
Yeah.
here you there you go. You guys have it. All the teams will be sponsored. Adidas. Let's just we're moving nicely along. I know it's a time constrained interview, but I like that we're getting the information there. I was I did my research on this, and I want to make sure we're pretty concise and precise in getting the information out. Um, Growing up in Jamaica, Mr. Chung, there was
Mhm.
always that Sunday evening where Jamaica is playing a game of football and you can turn on your TV and watch Jamaica play. And I felt that that was part of the spirit and getting everyone on board. Is there any plans from the JFF or other bodies to remedy the problem of at least having some football back on television, local television? I know that cable TV, that's something
Um,
else. Not everybody affords cable in Jamaica.
yeah,
Is
you
there
know,
any plans?
yeah. So that's a matter of what you call TV rights, and it
TV
depends on
rights. Yeah.
right. So um, we could always get it on television, but it's going to depend on the appeal to the TV company. So if they don't feel it's a huge appeal, they might not want to broadcast it. They might not want to pay any money for it. Right. So there are two things to consider. So
Mhm.
we had a match once, and someone saying, yeah, they could broadcast it, but guess what? We have to pay the production rights. That don't make any sense for us, right?
And you wouldn't
Uh,
be getting any of the revenue
no,
from.
but we would
Okay.
have to pay the production rights because I don't think it was appealing enough.
Okay.
We might have another situation like we had with the Paraguay Reggae Girls game, where we took a deliberate decision not to televise it, because if you televise it, then people won't turn out.
Turn up at the stadium. Yes.
And if they don't turn out, then, and especially coming off of the back of COVID, people are not used to going out yet. And some people just didn't want to go out in the crowds. So we took a deliberate decision not to televise it. So if the commercials add up, of course, I mean, in the days that you're talking about, maybe leading up to 1998,
Yes.
when we
Yes.
qualified, the demand for tickets was a lot more than what the stadium could hold, because such was the excitement around football at the time. I remember being in the stadium in 1998 when we actually drew with Mexico and qualified. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
and leading up to that, I mean, you just couldn't get any any tickets for the
No.
matches.
Yeah.
I mean, the tickets were scarce. So that's where we want to get back to. I think we'll get back to there with this coach, right? But it depends on the deal that we have, and you might see it televised at that time, but it all depends on the deal that we have. Because I understand people want to see it, but it don't make sense for us from a financial point of view to televise a match and there's nobody in the stadium, right?
Okay.
That's a problem.
So there we go, right there now, Mr. Chung. I think that's where there's a problem, where we have to find a balance, because a lot of people would say, well, can the JFF potentially stream some of the games? But then a person would then say the JFF doesn't even have an active YouTube channel. If the JFF wanted to stream the game, is that possible?
Yeah, man, we can stream it, but similarly, because you don't need to have a YouTube channel to stream it. But
Yeah.
similarly, we wouldn't want to do it if it's going to take away from our gate.
It's gonna take away from the gate.
Yeah.
But how do you also bring back the balance as to where people want to see the team? Because I think there's a lack of knowing about what Jamaica has been up to, and a lot of people basically just fade if you hear that we're not going to the World Cup. So how do we strike that balance there to make people still get access to the team by seeing the team and still be able to make money?
I mean,
money at
and
the
I'm
same
not
time.
talking people overseas is another thing. You can stream overseas.
Mhm.
But you get access to the team by coming to the match.
Oh God, Mr. Chung, man. You know the thing goes, sometimes some people it's crunch time. You have to make the decision between school bus fare for your kids go to school tomorrow, or you go up a stadium this
Yeah,
afternoon.
I understand that, but we have a crunch time also.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, we have to make money from the games. It
Yes.
costs a lot of money to put on a game,
Yeah, yes.
right?
But I think that regular Jamaican would say, I would rather the JFF flip the bill than I flip it.
Yeah, and that's the issue, So I mean, we have to recoup,
Yeah, yes.
definitely.
I totally understand. But I think let's just segue from that into fan relation, as far as to rejuvenate that fan base, because I think that question kind of is a part of this. How do we rejuvenate the fan base? Because I remember those games you spoke about going up to 98. My uncle them jumped the wall a couple times with me because the stadium was just too full, and we drove from Mandeville and actually couldn't buy tickets at the gate, and then people start to scale the walls and get in. What are we gonna do as far as fans relations is concerned to rejuvenate that fan base and get people excited again about Jamaican football? What are some of the plans that we think we're gonna be able to implement?
Well, what we need to do, which we have been doing, is being more transparent. Number one. So
Facts.
you realize I've been doing a lot of interviews. I've been telling people about what's happening with the JFF. So from that point of view, in terms of bringing back people, trusting the processes at the JFF, I think we've done a pretty decent job with that. We also have to, very importantly, ensure that our teams do well. Because once you have that transparency and people know that the organization is infrastructurally sound, then it's really getting the teams to do well. So you recently see we got Hal Grimson out of Iceland, and I can tell you, we had a meeting with him where he presented everything, and he knows. I mean, this is a very professional guy, right? The goalkeeper coach was there also, and also John Wall, who is his assistant, who is in charge of talent development. So I know that our boys are going to do well, right? Based also on the players he has identified and everything. I know our boys are going to do well. So we're putting a lot of resources into that. Our girls are doing well. They're at World Cup, right? The under 17 qualifications for World Cup is coming up next month, and I'm told that we have a very good team, right? So we can actually qualify for under 17 also. When we do all of those things and put the right things in place, what it is that we're going to have to market, which is what we're doing, right? We're pushing out things now in terms of marketing, what we need to do, right? And I think that we'll get there, right? Once you have an exciting team, based on what we've seen, the pipeline also is very good in terms of players that are out there. And once we put all of those things together, I think that we're going to have a well rejuvenated fan base, because you're going to want to see the reggae boys and the reggae girls. I can tell you that with what's happening now. We're going up to 2026. We definitely think we'll be in that World Cup. The spots have been increased by 2. So there are 6.5 teams now that can come from CONCACAF. The 3 powerhouses are already there because they're hosting, right? So the other 3 spots, I think it's going to be easy for Jamaica to get one of those.
Okay, all right. I like the confidence. As you spoke a little bit about fans, not the reason why I'm asking you about how we're gonna rejuvenate that fan base is, I thought a lot of the distance came from the way business was being carried out, and I'm glad and I'm happy you touched on the point that transparency is key, because that was one of the things that we felt the fans didn't actually know what was happening. And I love that you have came out and you have basically charted a new path as far as transparency is concerned. I just want to know who organizes press conference for the different coaches and for the different teams.
The press officer. We have a press officer, Earl Bailey, who deals with all of that.
Okay. And is it so it's just whenever he feels, or is it
no when he's asked,
mandate?
Yeah, when he's asked to do it. We have an event. So you had the under 17 press conference today, for example. If we have an announcement to make, we'll ask him. He'll organize a press conference. When we're announcing the new coach, for example. We have a few announcements that we're going to make come to the end of January, and we might have a press conference around that too.
Okay. Please. I was in that press conference on Zoom today. We have to speak to Mr. Earl about that. He has to get the audio better. Maybe Zoom is no longer that platform. The audio was very terrible. Sir Dennis.
Or maybe it's just the internet connection, because it was at the center, and I know the internet connection up there is not so good. So we're actually doing something about that, because the service between Flow and Digicel up there is not so great. So we're actually getting Starlink up there. right? The
Yeah.
satellite, right? Which is much faster. So we're waiting on that to come in now. I mean, we've ordered it, and it should be here any moment now. You know,
Yes.
so we expect that within a week or two, you're gonna see it much improved in terms of the service up there, which is important for us for the
Okay. I think Sir Dennis Chung has frozen a bit, so I think he should be back shortly. Yes, guys. We had to basically, and I want Mr. Chung to know that when we ask these questions, is because the fans, we expect a certain level of quality, but we also want to help the JFF get to a certain place where the standard is on a world class standard, because we cannot have a press conference for the JFF, and we barely can hear the coach and stuff like that. We want to. So I was saying, Mr. Chung, since you got
Mhm.
frozen there,
Yeah.
we want to say, when you hear us basically point these things out, or you would hear fans complain, is because they also want Jamaica to get to that level, that professional level. The fans have also upped the expectations. So if the JFF is requiring fans to pay their hard-earned money and support the team, and they want to expect a level of professionalism from the fans, from the JFF as well, and the
Mhm.
team. So I hope you understand it from that side, that it's not
Yeah,
that
man.
we're
Yeah, man. No,
big.
totally understand. I understand when fans criticize, and I think criticism is good. As I
Mhm.
always say, if everybody agreed with everything, then we wouldn't have the wheel being round. Maybe the wheel would still be square. You know,
Yes.
so criticism and disagreements is good. The only issue I always have is when people say things without facts and when
Yes.
people are disrespectful. Those are the two issues I have. I think that anything that is said without facts is really gossip.
Basically.
That's what it is. you know and I'm not someone who gossips,
Yeah.
so I don't like it.
Yes. And the facts cannot be. I always tell people, the facts cannot be debated. What are you debating? Who's more right? The facts are there. So that's why I also like clarity as well,
Yeah.
because that removes speculation. Um, you spoke about the, is it the unveiling? This is what, February 6th. Who
Yeah.
is responsible in the JFF for the marketing side of the football and the jerseys? And is Jamaica gonna be a part of the marketing for maybe try to ramp up sales locally or in the diaspora? Or this is, all of this will be on the hands of Adidas?
The marketing is primarily with Adidas.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, the fact that we'll be wearing it, the fact that we'll be talking about it, it does help. So we are our biggest marketer. I mean, as much as someone can write a marketing program for you, it's the
Mhm.
people who actually use a product. And when you look at you go to Amazon, for example, I mean, the suppliers will have their ads out there, but what you really got to is the user reviews.
Mhm.
Because you want to know about the people who actually use the thing. And therefore we think we'll be our greatest marketer.
Okay, all right, lovely, lovely. So as far as, because one of the ideas that I thought about, Sir Chung, was that when you look at the Jamaican fan base, I've been to a couple games here in Scandinavia, and I noticed that the fan base here is much younger. The youths are more rejuvenated and they're excited. They're screaming in the stadium, and it's, when you look at, but when I look at the demographic of the fan base in Jamaica, is mostly middle to older age men at these games.
Yeah.
How is there, how you look at continuity with players moving up the ranks? Are we
I,
also looking
I
at
don't.
fans in that same?
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna have a problem. Hear the difference now.
Mm,
The biggest football among youth in Jamaica is schoolboy football.
football. Yeah.
So they gravitate a lot more towards that. The biggest athletics in Jamaica is champs,
Mm,
which is schoolboy track and field. you know. Um, so I don't really have a fear about that, because what will happen is that as they move into communities and they start being more independent, then a lot of them start getting attached to Premier League clubs, right?
Yeah.
Or get attached to Jamaica because they're no longer into the schoolboy thing, right? Or, like me, I mean, my school is Jamaica College. I'll support them,
Yeah.
a lot. But, if there's a football match at the national level, you want to go. And remember also that in Jamaica, the income distribution is sort of different.
Yes.
Younger
Very.
people don't have money, disposable income, as much as younger people overseas.
Okay.
So you have to consider all of those things.
So when it comes to the marketing and we're creating a face and a brand for the Jamaican football program, is this solely based on someone who is the captain, or is it the most popular player, or we look at the players who have role model potential? How do you guys go about knowing?
Well, I mean, we want to think that all our players have role model potential, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean, we have to ensure that we have the right people playing on the team
Mhm.
and also working in the staff, you know. Um, so we like to think that way, right? Obviously, the crowd is going to gravitate to the most popular and the most exciting player, right? So Bonnie Shaw was a big thing for the Reggae Girls. You
Mhm.
know, when you look at the Jamaica men's team, it was Michael Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Or Leon Bailey. People gravitate to that. I mean, all football teams internationally, most people who go to watch them go to watch one person who is a star. You know what I mean? I mean, as much as Ronaldo is outside of the top tier football, the man is making $200 million a year. Why? Because when he announces something, millions of people follow him on social media, or they come out to watch him. Everybody wants to see Ronaldo. Everybody wants to see Messi. You know, and that's just how it is. People come to see the star.
But Jamaica have the potential to have many stars, though, Mr. Chung. That's why we ask, and as we keep going back to a player like Omari Hutchinson at Chelsea,
Yeah, yeah,
um, that's a player who's young, fresh, coming up in the English Premier League. He would also be a new face to the locals. You said the younger crowd, they gravitate a lot to the Manning Cup and the Costa Cup.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can all agree. Saying that, have we as the JFF ever thought of, how they have these like RGR road shows where they would pop up at schools where players can where kids can see their celebrities? it, is it ever a thing where the JFF, a couple, maybe some of the schools in the Kingston, the St. Andrew area, they maybe pop up a few players before games, sign a few uniforms, where younger kids can be inspired and they feel like they're closer to their
Yeah.
stars and get that relationship back?
Yeah. I mean, we've done that in the past. That's not something you can do
Mm-hmm.
often, though, because one of the things people don't understand is that the players have a busy schedule, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard for them because remember their jobs are physically demanding. So
Yes.
you see, when you see them out on the road, it's difficult for them many times, because they're under a lot of pressure, physically. Um, and, as Usain Bolt has said that, when he was training, he would spend half a day training and the other half resting,
Mm-hmm.
because, this is not the work that you do with your brain alone. This is muscular thing, and you have to recover. I know personally that when I go on a long ride or a hard ride,
Mm-hmm.
I just have to spend a few hours just relaxing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is what a lot of people need to understand. I know you want access to the players, but it's difficult for them. And that is why I think you don't see a lot of athletes in public a lot.
Yeah.
Athletes who are on top of the game. It's not that they don't want to go somewhere, but it is demanding. They wake up many times 4 or 5 o'clock in the mornings, and then they go and do training, right? They might train twice a day, right? It's difficult for them after they do that to get a one rest day.
But Sir Chung, there are times where I see that's the thing. I understand there's a issue, there's maybe roadblocks there, but still getting creative in the sense where maybe something is organized at the hotel.
Yeah,
I'm
man. Yeah,
saying
man.
with a couple of days, and you have kids coming in from certain schools who have maybe won the right to come and get a jersey sign, and I'm just trying to find a way how
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could
So
connect the thread again.
I'm not saying that those things can't be organized. I'm just saying that the options for that might be limited. Right?
Okay,
They
okay.
might be able to organize a 1 or 2 event, right?
Mhm.
But it's limited. I mean, I know. I mean, my cousin is Humans is who had coached girls the first World Cup, and he will tell you it's physically demanding. So for you to, for example, get one of those girls to come out and do something, it has to be arranged a long way in advance.
Yeah.
And yeah, because it's just physically demanding for them. And many times when they come in for matches, they're not here for long. The FIFA windows are not long, are small, and you come in, you're flying from Europe, for example. You might spend the first day resting, and then you're training. In camp, you get a few days off to rest and recover, and then you have the game. So but definitely, I agree with you that we want to get something like that done, but there's always going to be some limitations to it.
Yes,
Because of that.
yes, yes. Um, Jamaica culture, entertainment. Funny, when you were on stream the first time, we spoke about potential having a Burna Boy in Jamaica. He came to Jamaica, and we saw how that turned out. That was an amazing show. Going forward, the coolness of culture in Jamaica and the youngsters, because what I'm trying to do here is trying to use our strengths to connect the sports to try to get more people on board. How is there a way, Sir Chong, where we could tie culture with what's hot with the youngsters in Jamaica? Because my time of going to the National Stadium, I used to watch Bogle dance before the game, Bounty Killer or Beanie Man. I remember that game against Trinidad and Tobago, and the stadium just ram and Bogle and people just going crazy, and you're just so pumped up for the game. What are some of the plans to bring back that energy as far as culture is concerned back into
but
it?
listen, when you talk about the absence of it,
Mhm.
remember that we just came out of 2 years of total lockdown.
Understood. I'm talking about going forward, future
Right.
plans.
So it's not that those things are not going to be done. I mean, those things obviously take some time. First thing is that we need to organize some matches here, right? And then those things will be done. Whatever it is, artists might come and volunteer, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, nothing like that is ruled out. The primary thing for us always, of course, is to ensure that we have a good football game. That's the main thing. That's why people go to football matches. I don't think anybody go to football match to watch a 10-minute halftime show, unless Super Bowl or something like that. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I can agree with that, but I think part of it it helps the drive. Let's say even young dancers, young cool things that's cool where it's marketed and who is the marketing? Who is the head of marketing in at the JFF?
We are just signing on a well-known corporate person to lead our marketing from an operational point of view. Can't say who it is yet until we've signed off on it.
Yes, whenever that person is appointed, I would definitely like to have a conversation with that person, because I hope that the JFF also see the importance of social media and hashtags
Well,
and
that, that,
what's
that, that,
driving
that,
culture.
yeah, man, that's why I'm here and we post everything on social media.
Yes, 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 and that's that, Mr. Chung. That's another thing, Just post it on social media. That's one thing, because you can post something on social media and you have 1 million followers on Instagram, but only 50 people see it because of
Yeah, well,
how
we
it
don't have that
works.
problem. We have a lot of followers and a lot of reposts. So for
Mm-hmm,
example, when a few days ago when I took a
mm-hmm,
picture in the new Adidas lifestyle wear, right?
mm-hmm.
With two Adidas people, and my cousin was there with me also at the convention. And
Mm-hmm.
he's a Nike person, right? His club,
Okay.
he has a large club in Florida. He's a Nike person. And I posted the picture to say, hey, I'm with the Adidas guys. And he was in the picture. And he received a call within half an hour saying, hey, what happened? You're switching? You know, I received a lot of calls after that, within a few minutes, you know. So we don't have an issue. And that was posted on the JFF website. So we don't have that issue. I understand the whole thing about that. I myself have a few thousand friends and followers, and I
Mhm.
post all of my things also. So I understand that issue, but we don't really have that issue.
Yeah, man. I just hope the marketing. I'm sure the new marketing officer will hear the
Yeah,
term SEO, search
yeah,
engine
yeah,
optimization.
yeah,
Is getting out there in
yeah.
the algorithm and getting brand Jamaica moving. You touch a little bit on I think I actually like that photo, and it seems like that's something you want to talk about a little bit. We have another maybe 12 minutes to go. Mr. Chung is
Mhm.
only here for our guys, and we want to be concise, precise, and make and have a smooth discussion.
Well,
But we.
yeah, that was a sample that was sent to
Mhm.
me while I was in Philadelphia. So, I wore it, you know, and it generated a lot of feedback. People loved it, but that's just a sample. There's a lot more coming.
Mhm.
Container is on its way to Jamaica, and we're expecting some great feedback. They look good. I can
Yeah.
tell you, I've seen the outfits, right? And they're something to behold. The outfits are great. For the kits for the matches. So they're great. So we're looking forward to unveiling that on February 6th.
Okay. Are some of the photos that are circulating of the kits, are any of those what you saw in those
No,
containers?
no, no. Trust
Oh,
me.
okay. No, nothing like that. So we're gonna be
No.
totally surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shirt that you were wearing, what was that a part of, was that handed to you by Adidas, or that was your own
That
personal
was
Adidas?
sent to me. That was sent to me. Um, I had requested a few samples of the wear, and that
Mhm.
was part of the wear. You see, it says JFF and Adidas. That's like that's a wear that we'll have for, like, people at the office and that sort of thing. You know.
Okay, comfort. And let me just say this to the fans. We have another 10 minutes to go. Just drop your question in the comment section and we'll have a few of your questions answered by Sir Dennis Chung. I think he has given us a lot of information as far as the kit, the unveiling of the kit. And I also wanted to know what's his process as far as operations is concerned, and he is elaborated on most of that, and I feel that he has represented himself very
I,
well.
I see a comment there. Someone asking
Mm,
how bigger footballers do the signings, right?
mm,
And I just want to respond by saying, number one, um, a lot of them get paid to do it, right? I was at a function with a former um, Manu footballer just a few days ago, and I can guarantee you, them guys, they
mm.
got a lot of money, right? So a lot of them get
Oh
paid.
yeah, yeah.
But the other thing is that I didn't say that they wouldn't do it. I was saying it's limited because you don't see them doing it every day.
No,
You
we don't
know,
expect it every day, Mr. Chong.
right,
That's the thing. Is
right.
is when there's a window of opportunity. Let's
No
say we
man,
have
so
a big home
and
game.
that's what I'm saying in response to that comment that I didn't
Mhm,
say it will happen. I said it's
mhm.
limited.
Yeah. And is
Yeah.
this in your powers? If this was gonna be something that was gonna be organized, who would have been in charge to organize this?
Well, it would come from maybe my office to ask if it can be done, and then the team manager would take it up from there with them to see if it can
Okay.
happen. Because I mean, obviously the player has to consent to it.
Okay, yeah, yes, yes. But I think players are always ready, especially to give back when it comes to inner city communities. That's another initiative as well. When it comes back to inner city players want to feel like they are doing something, and sometimes they like to give hope to youngsters. So I
Yeah.
think I would love to see the JFF put these initiatives on the front burner to just get the communities back behind the team and getting that feeling back around the football. We're heading into the final stretch here. One of the big things, as we know, Sir Chong, we spoke about that first time we spoke on stream was the logistics when it came on to the JFF, and a lot of the fans thought it was down to the lack of competency from the previous general secretary. Now, and at that point, you weren't officially the general secretary. Now, speaking to you, you are the general secretary. What are some of your plans to make sure we remedy where players are getting to places on time, accommodations, the whole logistics? What
Yeah,
are some of your
well,
plans
a
to
lot is
remedy?
done. I mean, remember that. I mean, we've had since I've come on, we've played the Paraguay Jamaica game,
Mm,
right? 2 games in Jamaica. We didn't have any issues with that.
mm-hmm.
We played the Cameroon Jamaica game in Cameroon at the same time that we're doing that, right? We've also had an under 17 camp
Mm-hmm.
in December. Well, in November, we had one in Florida trials, and
Okay.
we had the camp from December. We just concluded a camp of the girls in Florida, right? And what we're doing now is we're planning way in advance and trying to book way in advance our
Okay.
tickets and everything, and that's one of the things also that Coach Halgrimson actually mentioned today that he wants to ensure that we're booking 2 months in advance. One of the issues that we're having before is that we're waiting until the last moment, not
Mm,
necessarily because things were not booked. What we're having before, sometimes, yes, the office sometimes booked late, but what was happening
okay.
also is that sometimes they book some players and at the last minute they change it,
Yes, 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 yes,
right?
yes.
And when you change at the last minute, you're dealing with 30 players from all over the world. So if 2 or 3 get out of whack, it seems to create a problem, and it can create a problem with the travel agency. So we're putting certain things in place to prevent that. So we haven't had any issues so far in Knockwood, and we think that the plans that we have in place, booking things way in advance, you know, um, ensuring that we agree bookings. So if someone say they want to fly on X date, and we send them the thing and say, hey, this is it. Is this the date you want to fly? This, and they say yes, and we'll go and book it. And those are some of the things we're trying to do. You're obviously going to have last minute changes sometimes because of exigencies that you have to
Mm,
deal with. But on the whole, that's the sort of thing that we want to do. We're
oh,
paying a lot, we're paying the per diems in advance also,
okay.
and that sort of thing. So yeah, we're trying.
Is there anything on the table to potentially seek some kind of sponsorship from a airline company or so to
We
kind of
are
maybe alleviate the burden?
we are doing that. I spoke to who we have designated our travel consultant
Mm-hmm.
to see if they can get some leeway with that. So we're trying to do that because that's a huge cost for us. But the truth is that one of the things we have to do is have a
Mm-hmm.
good product that we want to sell, and we think that we're getting there. So a
Okay.
lot that we've done in the past 2 months is really just to repair the brand.
Okay, and I have to give you a lot of credit for actually going out and being transparent. And the coach said something very important. I don't know if you saw that report, Mr. Chung, when Coach Hallgrimson arrived on the island. He said that he see that the JFF are changing things, and he's been seeing them on the podcast.
Mhm.
Um, I hope the JFF understand that's an important thing as well, because if the coach is also getting information from the podcasters, it's gonna put pressure on
Well,
the
well,
JFF to make sure
well,
they come through and do
yeah,
things correctly as well.
yeah. Well, JT, let me tell you that. I mean, the fact that I'm here,
Yeah.
and the fact that I spent a lot of time. I mean, Ryan can tell you,
Yeah.
Manning's man can. I spent a lot of time with them, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I get up early. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So when you see me at 8 or 9 o'clock, is I putting in it because I exercise in the mornings. You know,
Okay.
so I do spend a lot of time, and a lot of people have been coming on. The president, Speed, the
Mhm.
coach also. So we're trying our best.
Just a question from the man. He says, "How are you going to book 2 months in advance when the teams are selected at a few weeks before? Is there a way where you could they could potentially have tickets open and then the names are handed in at a later date? I'm thinking.
Who asked that question?
It says the person name is the man.
Yeah. So how does he know that?
Okay, that's a good rebuttal. The man, I don't
Okay.
know. How do you actually know that? I have to agree
Right.
with with
Right.
with with um with Mr. Dennis
If
here.
I come to you and tell you something as somebody who is in it, then hey, you know, I'm telling you what my experience is. We
Yes.
know, that there are a certain core set of players. Leading up to
Okay.
it, you might have to book a few more, but there are a certain core set of players.
In his defense, though, Mr. Chung, is that it wasn't so previously and it was a
And
bit
that's
more
what I'm
chaotic.
saying.
Yeah.
Right, because of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that, I mean, if you look at the Jamaica team, for example, over the period of time, the World Cup qualification, the
Mm-hmm.
core set of players never really change.
In the World Cup qualifiers?
Yeah, the core set of players never really changed that much. You had
I
a
don't.
core, you had a core set of players. I agree that in 1 or 2 matches, you saw a lot of changes on the field,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a core set of players. So if you can say, boy, listen,
Okay.
I have 10 or 15 core players. I can book those people because the coach will say to you way in advance, hey, and any properly organized coach knows way in advance how he's going to pick his team. You don't wait until 2 weeks before. You know that you have a course. So the under 17s are training, for example, and they have a certain core set, right? They might have a few players they haven't gotten down to the 20 yet, but they might know 10 or 12 of them who definitely are going to be in the team.
Yes. Yes.
So you book those players and then, you know, you leave
Yeah.
the rest home. Yeah.
I think those kind of words, though, Sir Chung, those words are traumatizing for the fans. When you talk about core and the previous World Cup qualifiers, we know
Yeah.
how that go. But we're here for a new start, and I'm one of the persons as well who's I'm basically advocating the fans to support and give the JFF a new opportunity in a way to redeem themselves as far as some of the mishaps that we had previously, and hopefully we can remedy and get to a place where we can only focus on football. That's the important, to get to a place
Mm.
where football is the number one thing when it comes to the Jamaica football program. It's not all the logistical issues and whatever. My final question: have you spoke to the head coach, and how is he handling his new settlement on the island and
You know,
transitioning?
I'm very excited. He actually did a presentation to us today,
Mm-hmm.
myself and the president, in terms of his plans. What I'm really excited about is just his approach. I mean, he did a presentation on everything he's going to do up to 2026.
Mhm.
Hey, I mean, that's a professional.
Yeah.
This man plan out everything. This man has identified all the players he's interested in, for present and future. You know,
Okay.
yeah. I'm very excited about what he's doing.
That must be quite exciting for
Yes.
someone to come in with that level of professionalism. I think that will also motivate you guys as well and keep everybody honest to make sure
Yeah.
they're doing their part. And I want to thank Sir Dennis Chung for coming on tonight and sharing his valuable time with us and just breaking down some of the things. I think he has been quite transparent since he came on into the job and also in the YouTube space, as he spoke a little bit more today about just repairing the brand and what's the plans for the future. And we want to big up everybody at Elite Sports, big up Ryan LSC for making this possible. And we want to big up all the fans. And please make sure you have questions. You can always send me questions when we have these interviews because we want to ask these individuals questions that the fans also have so we can all be in a better place so and going forward. And thank you guys again. Bless up anywhere you are. Thank you,
All
Sir
right.
Dennis Chung.
Yeah, man. No problem.
All
All
right.
right.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, man.